What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. In today's episode, we'll be talking about a picture of Patrick Williams that came out without him having a brace or a cast on his hand. We'll also be talking about the concept of going all in and where some fans get that concept wrong. We'll also be talking about the Bulls' upcoming games against the Dallas Mavericks and diving into the mailbag. We'll do all that and more right after this. All right, Bulls fans. So you guys may have seen it on my community tab for anyone who's a viewer on YouTube, but I posted these pictures of Patrick Williams and him being seen without a cast or a brace on that injured hand. Now, this could mean nothing at all. Let me be clear in what I'm saying here, right? Because I don't want to sensationalize anything or anything like that, but this could mean nothing or it could mean everything. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, because it very well could just be, his wrist still not healed all the way. He's not comfortable with it. Maybe he just had the cast off in that minute. We don't in that moment, I should say. We don't know a lot because it's just a photo. It's nothing else. Patrick Williams hasn't talked about it. The Bulls haven't released anything, so we don't know. But what I do want to say is that if this is a sign and a point in the direction that Patrick Williams may be ready to go by, we had always said around March, maybe before, depending on how he's healing. If he is gearing up and preparing and going through things that maybe he may get cleared to come back before the postseason, that could mean a lot for the Chicago Bulls. And that is very well why we see that the Bulls aren't making some of the moves that we think that they should make. On top of they have their own plan and everything like that. But, for anyone who pointed out, DeMarcus Cousins actually signed a 10-day contract with the Nuggets. And I know a lot of people were surprised that the Bulls did not do that move. But with that being said, and we'll talk about this more in the next segment, but overall, Patrick Williams seen without a cast, it's something to look out for. It's something to look out for. Like I said, it could mean nothing at all, or it could mean a lot. But let me know what you guys think down below of a potential Patrick Williams return. Do you think that may be why the Bulls are not making any moves? What do you think is going on there? We'll talk about that. We'll continue to monitor and talk about it as more comes out. But like I said, this franchise believes in Patrick Williams. And we'll talk about more about this concept of going all in the next topic. But I will say I was excited for that. But as a Bulls fan, again, I get excited about a lot. I have to put my fandom to the side sometimes. But, let me know what you guys think about that. Before I get into the next topic, though, let me also point out, in my last video, I misspoke. I said that it was Kick Punches that brought up the topic of Kobe White possibly being the most improved player of the year if he keep his level of play up. It was actually Brandon Peck. So I want to give the proper homage and the proper respect and shout out to Brandon Peck, who actually was the initial one to bring that up. And so there you go, Brandon. I'm sorry about that, man. Charge it to my mind, not to my heart, brother. Yeah. But let's the next thing I want to talk about is this concept of the Chicago Bulls going all in. This is something that you hear a lot, especially amongst Bulls fans who are calling for players like Patrick Williams, Kobe White, or whoever to be traded for the missing four, quote unquote missing four. So there's a couple of different ways, and I want to first let me address this first. This is the very last time I will address any trade speculation or anything before the trade deadline, unless the Bulls actually make a signing, unless the Bulls actually make a trade, unless something comes out from an actual Bulls beat reporter that the Bulls are in advanced talks in a trade. I will not do any more trade speculation conversation on any video. So here we go. So as far as the concept of going all in, I've already identified why Bulls fans, don't want to wait on potential as far as us being so close to contendership and us having that one piece, the Bulls feeling like that one piece away. And so I want to talk about it from both sides of this. First, I'm going to talk about the side and the pro trade side of things. It's not a side that I fall on, but let me point out there are some valid reasons. This Bulls team has a lot of depth at guard, right? And so it would make sense to use some of that depth to bring in what you're missing in size in the front court. As good of a job as Javonte Green has done, as good as a job as Derrick Jones Jr. has done, they can only do so much. There are times where just the size and length do get to them. Now, with that being said, the Bulls have huge depth at the guard, especially Alex Caruso hasn't been playing. We don't know if he's going to be back tonight. And I haven't heard anything. He probably won't be. But with that being said, Kobe White's improved play. For the people who already were in the trade, Kobe bandwagon. Of course, they are now in the mindset of he's playing so well, he's playing so great, let's capitalize off his trade value. Ayo Dosunmu as well. His acceleration and the way in which he's playing with and the way in which he's learning, it makes sense for people to say, hey, let's use some of this depth. We have 5 guards in Lonzo, Levine, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, and Alex Caruso that ideally, while Billy Donovan is probably going to find ways, they cause us matchup problems if we're using that many guards in a rotation. So I understand that concept and that mindset, right? That is a legitimate and valid reason to present it, regardless of people saying, hey, whatever. I'm just saying, just off a baseline level of looking at that depth, it makes sense. And when you have an extreme amount of depth and quality depth as is showing up, why you would think, hey, let's use some of that depth to go after what we need. Now, a reason to not be on that side of things and reason to not be on that side of the coin is, yes, we have a lot of depth at the guard. We've done fine. To look at the Bulls record, we are the #1 team in the East with the way that we're playing. So while people bring up things like the matchup against KD, the matchup against Giannis, of course, Philly, and the fact that we need size and depth, the people who are on the opposite side that don't think the Bulls should be making any moves, one of the reasons and key points to that is the Bulls still have trade exceptions. The Bulls have players that aren't playing very good in Troy Brown Jr. He's playing better, right? That you can try to capitalize and use in the case of a deal being available, instead of using our depth and our young players that we still don't know what they can turn into. On top of that, the buyout market. And I think some people lose the fact of, and again, this is fans have different mindsets and different methodology behind it, is that a lot of Bulls fans think, hey, if we can get a starter at every position, that's what you do. It's not always the greatest makeup of team construction, right? As well, so you have those people that think that. Here's where I fall on it. The Bulls can absolutely fix the whole of what they don't need a starter at the 4. They need a defender, a shot blocker, and somebody who's going to rebound well. That does not take trading a player that's potentially a 20-point per game scorer off the bench, right? 15 to 20 in Kobe White. Now let's also talk about something that's not talked about a lot. Ayo Dosunmu and the elephant in the room. And by this, I know there are going to be a lot of people that disagree with what I say on this, but let me clear the air on that first. I'm taking anything personal out of the consideration. So I'm not in what I'm about to say. I don't care that Ayo's from Chicago. I'm not bringing that into effect because those are all factors that it's not really tangible, right? I'm just looking at a baseline level of things here. Ayo Dosunmu is a 2nd-round draft pick who only signed a 2-year deal. Because of that, it's going to be, the Bulls cannot go over the cap to sign him. They will have early bird rights, but they don't have the matching capability of a 1st-round pick. I've talked about this very heavily. It's happened with Wesley Matthews. It's happened with Gilbert Arenas, who is again, somebody like he started for the Golden State Warriors before he went to the Washington Wizards, but the Golden State Warriors just could not re-sign him because of the deal he got. And I know people are going to bring up, well, he's from Chicago. He's a young kid. He's going to want to say, listen, that all sounds good. And it very well may be true. Again, I'm not saying that any one of these options are more true than the other. But when you look at the possibility, right, and you have to look at every possibility when you're a front office exec, is the possibility that Ayo has family, he has an agent, I'm sure, that's in his ear. And the fact of the matter is that at the end of next offseason, if a team with a huge amount of cap space and that wants to build around Ayo as their starting point guard, offer him, and let's say they have a cap space of upwards to $15 to $18 million a year, and they want to offer that to Ayo Dosunmu, the Bulls will not be able to match that. And this goes back to that concept of going all in, especially for the Bulls fans that are calling for the Bulls to trade for another $20 million player or a player that makes a lot of money in Christian Wood, Jeremy Grant, Sabonis, or Miles Turner. Keep in mind, if that happens, then you're definitely pricing yourself out of the Ayo Dosunmu category because the Bulls just cannot match that. And when we're talking about part of going all in is as well as looking into the future. All in is on your assets, not just yes, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic have a shortened time span than some members of the rest of this roster. And I know a lot of Bulls fans don't want to hear development and potential anymore, but you have to look at everything and the totality of everything. Listen, again, this is not to pull the emergency cord or anything, but keep in mind it is a very real possibility in the very real world in which a team offers Ayo Dosunmu a contract that the Bulls just cannot match. And because of that, if you also trade Kobe White, the Bulls are looking at all this. And again, AK and Eversley we trust, but this is a conversation that I wanted to talk about. No matter what names you're going to throw out or anything like that, keep in mind if you're somebody in the camp that you think Kobe White should be traded because of the ascent of Io, then keep in mind if you're talking about a player with a big contract that goes into the year and it's going to overlap some with Zach LaVine's big extension. And keep in mind, this front office is keeping that. So let me know what you guys think about all that concept of going all in. Again, I tried my best to present it from both sides of the argument. So let me know. I know this is going to be one of those divisive topics that people are going to be very opinion on it, and I want it. Leave all those comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. Next topic. So the Chicago Bulls are facing the what do I want to say, the Orlando Magic, the Dallas Mavericks tonight. In a game where both teams are on hot streaks. The Bulls on a 9-game winning streak. The Dallas Mavericks are on a 5-game winning streak currently. Now, Kristaps Porzingis is out for this game, guaranteed. Willie Cauley-Stein is also out. Luka is questionable. Now, I would not be surprised at all. We all know the type of things that are moving around with these front offices and these teams if they don't wait until the very last minute that they can to announce that Luka's going to actually play in this game. But with that being said, I'm sure the Bulls are preparing for Luka to be there in case if he's not, then they can make adjustments. But so the two teams on hot streaks. Somebody's streak is ending tonight. And so with that being said, the way I like to do these preview videos is talk about the things that the Bulls need to do. We need to keep playing like we played last game. That is when the Bulls are most dangerous. And by that, I mean the freedom of ball movement. The really go to whoever's top, make the extra pass. When the Bulls do those type of things, and you saw it in last game, when the Bulls are making those extra quick passes and people are moving without the ball, we're damn near unstoppable. Like, and it's by a large margin. When the Bulls are moving the ball, we're unstoppable. And so the Bulls really need to do that. I want to see that. You know, Billy Donovan talked about taking more threes, but he talked about taking more threes with passing, with getting in transition on defense and stuff like that. So it's not just taking more threes for the sake of threes, which is what I like about Billy Donovan's comments. It's about taking threes in the flow of the game, making those extra passes to where taking those extra threes, it just flows. It all flows and it fits within the way that the game goes. So be on the lookout for that. The Bulls also, we know they're going to have to play tough defense. That's every game, every day. But I would say this. I did say that last game I was looking for Lonzo to have a big game in whatever fashion he had it. He stuffed the stat line in a lot of different ways. But I think one thing that's going unsaid is even though he has had some down scoring games, is Nikola Vucevic's play. Not only his rebounding, but what he's doing with assists, what he's doing with blocks in certain games, what he's doing with steals as well. This is a game I'm calling that Nikola Vucevic is going to have a major game. And I could be completely wrong with that. We know DeMar, we know Zach are going to do their thing. At this point, we're trusting in the bench and Kobe White, Io to really do their thing as well. Troy Brown's giving us some solid minutes. We'll see if Tony Bradley can also build on top of the game that he had, which he had some very active and good minutes for us in our last game. And that's what we want to see from Tony Bradley. You guys know I'm in the camp of Tyler Cook, but I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the game that Tony Bradley had in that last game. So overall, we're going to need to have a team win. We're going to, as we go further into the season, I want to see more games like last game as far as the ball movement and the execution on offense. I want to see us move away from the ISO ball and really focus on that. And we now know that we do have the players that can play isolation ball. If nobody else's shot is falling, if we just need somebody to go out and get a bucket, we know we have Zach, we know we have DeMar, we know DeMar's ability to get to the free throw line and extend our leads and really get us back in games and with his ability to get to the free throw line. We need to see all of that. And you know, like I said, I understand why the ISO ball is used in certain situations, but I want to see this team bring that focus on playing team basketball and just the beautiful passing that we saw. We really have a team full of people who can pass. Kobe White's improved passing. We already know what Io can do with passing, and Caruso when he's there off the bench. But when you look at our starters, DeMar, Zach, not Derrick Jones Jr. or Javonte Green as much. They are the benefactors of great passing. But we have Zach, we have DeMar, we have Vooch, we have Lonzo, all great passers. Solid passers in some case. I don't want to use the word great for everyone, but really good passers in our starting lineup. And when that ball moves in the way that it does, we get easy shots, we get easy transition buckets, and really we keep the defense on their toes in the way that they have to rotate, and we can find that open man and things like that. So those are the things I'm going to be looking out for tonight's game. If Luka does play, you guys know Luka really So my hierarchy of basketball watching at this point is always the Bulls. I watch every single Bulls game. I watch the Dallas Mavericks game when I can, and it's the Charlotte Hornets. Those are like the 3 teams that I use my league pass for the most, but I watch a lot of basketball, so I'm really excited, and I hope Luka does play because I want to see the Bulls beat the competition. Not only that's in front of them, but I want to see them face the upper echelon competition. So yeah, that's looking forward. We know we have Detroit coming up, a Brooklyn game after that. That's nationally televised as well, and then after that, we got Golden State Warriors as well on national TV on ESPN. The Bulls have a nice stretch here, and it's going to be interesting to see how far they can extend this lead. I asked you guys last video how far you see this lead going. Some people said 11, some people said 12. We'll continue to see it, but I trust in this Chicago Bulls team. I trust their ability to do the things that they need to do to win this game and to be in every game this season. So that's it. I know I'm going to get into the mailbag. I'm actually, this video went long, so I'm actually going to separate it. You guys are going to get 2 videos from me today. I'm going to drop a separate mailbag episode, so be on the lookout for that. I'll probably drop that a couple of hours after this one goes up. But like I like to end every video on, go Bulls. I love you guys. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.